Michael J. Riff, The Opinion. Moose on the Loose is back in the radar. Carney caught in first ethics breach with Brookfield CEO and CBC to be defunded. It's like a friggin' tabloid newspaper at a supermarket. These guys are too much. So let's see what they got to say.
Willing they are to give up the good thing they got going. So that's the tension. But the president is not going to tolerate that. So
is this a student master situation? Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today we got Mark Carney following in Justin Trudeau's footsteps in breaching ethics violations. Mark Carney with his first one, technically his first one. He's got more than one.
Hey, listen. If this is a breach of ethics, and you're the one that's pointing the finger, it's got to be a nothing burger. It's going nowhere. All it is a tabloid newspaper drama, just like Rebel News.
One already at this point, but with the disclosure of Mark Carney's assets, people are going back through all the words he said, the statements he's made. Mark Carney's in some hot water. And with all that, we've got...
He's not in any hot water. It's just a waste of time. Just the exact waste of time, because here's the thing. Any of those people actually petitioned Pierre Poilievre. One of them, as a matter of fact, petitioned Pierre Poilievre back in early April. They thought he was going to be the prime minister. So the other thing is, you have to understand Poilievre, Melissa Lantsman, they both have holdings in Brookfield. 5 other well-known conservative MPs have holdings in Brookfield. So you just another nothing burger from just to rile up your base. And I got to tell you, a lot of your base really got to put some thought and reason into where they're going with some of their statements.
Carney calling to save money everywhere possible, including the CBC. Got a bunch of other stuff here. Let's jump into this. Got this one here, a graph of real estate market, Red Pill Rick here, comparing the Canadian real estate market to a bubble.
Red Pill Rick. Gotta love these names. And X for a source of credibility. Like, come on now. Now, here's the deal. You do realize that there have been real estate bubbles in the past. This is nothing new. You do realize this, of course, right, David? Like, come on now.
Stages of a bubble. Saying it's literally textbook bubble. What do you think? Looks pretty darn close. Yep. Are we going to see...
Like, maybe it's a dead cat bounce. What do you think?
Housing prices drop this much? That's the question. Because if it drops off a cliff even to down here, we're talking $300,000 for a house versus $700,000. Boy, would that make a difference in Canada. And while we're talking about housing, we got Shazzy.
Happened in 1989, 1990. So I'm not sure why you're surprised. Especially with what this Donald Trump's been doing in the markets. Like, do you people really follow what's going on?
Gully saying Airbnb folks are about to get wrecked. The CRA doesn't like those cozy guest suites. It sees it as a commercial business. And now you could owe 13% HST on your entire home sale. This is...
Now, you can make this into whatever you want, but let's be honest. Airbnb has been taking business from hoteliers, hotel, motel business. Private citizens have been investing, and small corporations, private corporations, investing, buying properties so that they could do Airbnb so that they can all profit. And so, yeah, it's a business. What do you think we have an affordability crisis with homes? You think you don't realize this Airbnb is one of the factors at play. And yet you still cannot connect the dots with that. You're just making it out like, oh, the government's bad, bad, bad. But here's part of the affordability for housing is right now. Why supply and demand? Because a lot of investors, private people, bought up a lot of housing. They're just doing Airbnb for profit. No families living there.
It's not a joke. This is true. So if you Airbnb your house out, as it says here, Ottawa slapped one owner with $77,000 for just switching to Airbnb. Do have that confirmed here right off of Remax website. They enforced a 13% sales tax on these transactions. Upon selling the property for $670,000, the CRA later assessed the former owner's $77,000 HST owed. They're basically treating it like the sale of a commercial hotel. Isn't that something? The government...
No, it's not something. That's what they are doing. Technically, that's what they are doing.
Just trying to steal every little dollar from the people they can. We got Chris Stacey on the scene here.
But you don't understand the affordability problem with housing. You know, like you want to blame everybody for the affordability housing issue. I guess all the liberals' fault. But yet here you have a perfect example of one of the factors at play that cause the housing affordability issue, and you're in denial. You just can't connect the dots. It's beyond your comprehension, it seems.
Watching Mark Carney coming out of the building.
There is a tariff-free deal still possible. We're looking for an English clip, sir. Sure, Canada.
103 complex.
Is a tariff-free deal still possible, sir?
Mr. Carney, you said you had no possible conflicts of interest. We now know you have 103. Mr. Carney, Mark, look inside yourself. What do you have to say to Canadians who feel you've been...
So 103 alleged conflicts of interest that you're trying to create before they've happened. You're trying to say they've happened, but they haven't happened. So who's laughing here? Who should be laughing? Like, come on now.
They've been lied to.
That was gold, man.
Mr. Carney.
If you ever see him anywhere, say that. Look inside yourself. Off he goes.
Mr. Carney.
Got this one from Elevate Podcast saying, Carney's approval rating comparison to Trudeau and Harper's at the same time around 52% versus 63 versus 61. That is interesting. Is that approval rating tied to this not making a deal with Donald Trump? Quite interesting here. Donald Trump has made a deal with Indonesia, which will have 19% tariffs on goods imported to the
Oh, this is a good one here. You got to hear this one.
United States. This morning, I finalized an important deal with the Republic of Indonesia after speaking with their leader. Landmark deal opens up Indonesia to the entire market of the United States for the first time in history. As part of this agreement, they'll be purchasing $15 billion in U.S. energy. Take note, Carney. This is how they're doing this deal. So you have to do a better deal than this to get no tariffs. $4.5 billion in American agriculture products. 50 Boeing.
Yeah, but David, as you stated, they still got to pay a 19% tariff. They still got to pay a 19% tariff no matter what.
Jets. Very suspicious because every deal seems to have Boeing jets in it, including...
Every deal is Boeing suspicious. Everything's suspicious with you. But here's the deal. This is a bad deal. And anybody thinking this is a good deal, you're off your friggin' Lulus. $15 billion in U.S. energy they got to buy. Another $4.5 billion in American agricultural products. So that's almost $20 billion. 50 Boeing jets, many of them 777s. So a 777 mean price is about $400 million. So there's another $20 billion. So, and then you got to pay a 19% tariff on all goods on top of that. And then, and this is where the real tricky part is, like, there's no good deals with Trump. You don't know what's going on here. You really do not know. And that goes with a good portion of the population do not know. It states that transshipments from a higher tariff country, then that tariff will be added to the tariff that Indonesia is paying. So I'll give you an example. Vietnam. They're in a positive trade tariff. So Senator Kennedy's actually grilling Lutnick, because they called Lutnick in. And He said, why are you charging them a tariff? They're in a positive trade position. But Lutnick says, oh, that's not how we operate. They get some supplies from China, make it into goods, and sell it to America. So that's why we got to charge the tariff. So, do you understand what's going on? Like, you can't have a good deal with Trump. Never have. That's why Panama, the Trump Tower, Toronto, Trump Tower, every other Trump Tower, because Trump does not make fair, honest, good deals of value for both parties. He doesn't know how to do that. The art of the deal is just a friggin' BS fabrication. And that's why his deals don't go through. He doesn't know how to make a deal. It's fair, and everybody's got to get out of the deals because they're no good. Jeesh. Even the ones that are set up for him to benefit, he abuses the privilege by making them so bad that whoever he's doing a deal with, they can't make anything out. They're going to lose. And secondly, this guy's had 6 bankruptcies, including casino. And do you know how many tradespeople, average workers, that have been stiffed for payments because this guy doesn't pay? His first term when he got impeached as lawyer, as president, couldn't get lawyers because he stiffs lawyers. He stiffs everybody. And this is the way and you don't even know how he's enriching himself right now. It's just beyond your comprehension. But you look up to that guy. He's going for a big fall. Trump's going for a big fall, and it's just starting with the Epstein files now. Mark my words.
UK's, many of them 777s for the first time ever, our ranchers, farmers, fishermen will have complete total access to the Indonesian market and over 280 million people. And on top of that, 19% tariffs. So Carney's deal has to be a lot better than that. Next up, we got Kate Harrison, absolutely.
We'll probably not do a deal with the U.S. because it's going to be a bad deal. If you think that's a good deal, that's a bad deal. That's a very bad deal for anybody to partake in.
Blasting Mark Carney and the Liberals here on CBC.
I want to start with you. It is a fact that other countries are not getting deals that don't include tariffs at this point. Was this the inevitable conclusion of where things were going to land for Canada?
I'm getting very confused, Catherine, about where to put my elbows. They're up and they're down, and if they keep moving that way, we're going to look like a bunch of chickens.
No, what you should be asking is why is Scott Moe and Danielle Smith taking United States liquor into their province? These are one of the more important steps we need to take to circumvent any tariff deal. Forget about tariff deal with the U.S. CUSMA, the free trade agreement, expires next June. We've got that, which will carve out certain things that are tariff-free. So we need this time between now and June to get our act together. Some people want to get rid of the industrial carbon price. But you don't realize for the new markets that we're going into requires having an industrial carbon tax. So conservative YouTubers and even just the conservative politicians are misleading you, the general public. And we really need to work together here right now. Open all inter-provincial trade across Canada to help make up for this tariff situation, plus open other new markets, and it can be done.
Prime Minister has an expectation management problem. You referenced it off the top. He billed himself during the election as the guy that would get a good deal for Canada, and the reality is that our tariffs are higher today than they were on election day.
A good deal would be doing no deal with the U.S. because you can't get a fair deal with Trump the way he's doing things. You should realize that by now. You should understand the man is illiterate. He's a functioning illiterate. Based on the interviews with Epstein, which was his closest friend for 15 years, Trump has no idea about cause and effect. And you should know, in 2018, the American government subsidized the U.S. farmers for $36 billion because they wiped out, with their tariff war with China, wiped out the business. A couple decades worth of business the American farmers lost because of Trump. And it's rather unfortunate. Let's move past this. Just utter nonsense. What do we got coming up here?
Expectations that he has set.
She knocked it out of the park here. I saw a report somewhere that basically the critical minerals thing is back on the table. We saw that report that got pulled down maybe 3 weeks ago or so, that Donald Trump is trying to get access to our critical minerals because China has a lot of them. China does like 90% of the processing of critical minerals, and America wants to stockpile them. You see this here from CNBC. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum said in April that the U.S. government was looking at taking direct equity stakes in critical mineral and rare earth miners to break.
Listen, David, if Trump could get away with it, he'd invade Canada. You just don't get it. You don't understand what the situation is right now and what we're dealing with. You'd rather capitulate. You make it out like it's a child's play, child's game. You really do not know the gravity of the situation.
China's dominance. Trump administration is also looking at stockpiling critical minerals. So I think this is 100% going to be in the deal if a deal is ever made. This seems to be their number one thing they want from us. And that deal would be that first access to critical minerals, oil and gas at bottom barrel prices. Elbows down. Moving ahead in some bombshell news here, we've got...
I mean, elbows down. Polyev would be caving in. Daniel Smith wants to already. Scott Moe wants to already. That's why they're bringing liquor from the U.S. in. Like, come on, use some common sense.
Mark Carney breaking ethics laws. So Rebel News dropping this one. Mark Carney was lobbied by firms listed in ethics filings after federal election. North River Midstream lobbied Mark Carney on April 30th, and then he met with...
Yeah, and they lobbied Pierre Poilievre back in March or April because they thought Poilievre was going to be prime minister as well. You understand that Poilievre has a huge holding in Brookfield. Melissa Lantsman has a holding in Brookfield, which her Brookfield holding is the part that's registered in Bermuda that you guys make this big stink about, and Rebel News makes a big stink about. So it's just utter nonsense. And this here, Rebel News. This here, Michael Barrett. This means nothing. It's another nothing burger. Claims that Sam Pollock, Pierre Poilievre, Melissa Lantsman, Cheryl Gallant, Scott Reed, Scott Davidson, Stephen Ellis, and Greg McLean. Those are the known conservatives that have holdings in Brookfields. So, if you're going to say Carney, better include Poilievre, Lantsman, Cheryl Gallant, Scott Reed, Scott Davidson, Stephen Ellis, and Greg McLean. They're all, so, it's just nonsense. And this guy from Rebel News, like, come on now. It's like a tabloid newspaper, not real news. The Deputy Privy Council testified to the Commons Transport Committee. Her employees were attempting to manage all the conflicts. They are managing all the conflicts. And there is a PMO's office, and there's a lot of MPs, ministers, that can deal with these situations. Carney doesn't have to get involved. So it's all a nothing burger. Just like this Bermuda tax evasion. I think this is the first company that's done what they've done with Bermuda? No. And Melissa Lantsman is holding shares in the same company registered in Bermuda. So all these are allegations. You're creating a conflict of interest that does not exist. Trying to say it's going to happen, like, that's good policing there, boys. And then Polyev has an over 50% holding in Vanguard. Like, he tries to say, I'm getting rid of my investments in Canada after Trump. And I'm going to, there's another Rebel News, another bullcrap statement. So he sold his international funds. Pierre Poilievre sold international funds, bought Canadian. This is what he bought. 6 exchange traded funds, Singapore. Didn't just Trump do a deal with Singapore? Maybe there's a conflict of interest there. Switzerland, who knows? Maybe Swiss cheese. But anyways, and then Bitcoin, that's how the Russian mob and all mobsters launder proceeds from criminal activities. Beautiful. Same with the Genius Act with the United States under Trump, backed with the U.S. dollar. Biggest scam ever in the history of the world. And then, however, when U.S. President Donald Trump began threatening Canada, Polyev sold his international funds and bought Canadian ones, said Conservative Party spokesman Sam Lilly. Guess what? The Vanguard Fund has an over 50% holding just alone in Brookfield, not including individual stocks of subsidiaries and companies of Brookfield. And so it's all just smoke and mirrors. So, Polyev has repeatedly criticized Carney's involvement. Oh, Polyev, did you talk to everybody and say one of these guys from Brookfield's companies that you're alleging Carney's in conflict of now petitioned you for business back in early April? No, you didn't tell anybody about that, did you? Sorry, no. So there you go. That's that. Now,
well, Prime Minister Mark Carney's personal wealth is back in the public spotlight, with Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre making allegations about possible conflicts of interest. This comes after the Ethics Commission.
And this is the thing, and this is all that Pierre Poilievre has to go on. This is why he lost his riding in Carleton, Ottawa, because he's got nothing that serves the people. He's got no policy that serves the people. Conservative Party are just working on allegations, making up things that don't exist. The consumer carbon tax, they said you're going to get rich. Well, we got zero rated. Within a couple months, inflation ate up any savings that anybody had. And probably was one of the better carbon taxes to deal with climate change, because we got to deal with it.
Disclosed some of the details of assets Carney placed in a blind trust. Carney has also set up a series of conflict of interest screens designed to prevent him from making decisions to the benefit of his former employers. Carney's assets are worth millions of dollars spread across dozens and dozens of companies. Blind trusts and conflict screens meet ethics standards, and they are consistent with the past practices of Liberal and Conservative governments. But should the Prime Minister be doing more?
No, he shouldn't, because nobody else did in the past either. If you go back to the Nigel Wright fiasco under Stephen Harper, Pierre Poilievre was actually a committee member of the Ethics Committee, and he said, well, we're going to change the ethics laws and conflict of interest laws, which he never did. This was back in 2010, 2013. Meanwhile, Nigel Wright did do some serious transgressions that came out later, which torpedoed the Stephen Harper government, and that's how Trudeau got in. So Just a nothing burger. You're just wasting our time. We got a problem with the United States. We need to make sure we've got inter-provincial trade starting to happen right now. We don't need liquor from the United States through Alberta or Saskatchewan. We need to work together from the East Coast to the West Coast and work on opening new markets and trade partners that want to work with us. Can't force USA to work with us when it's not in our interest. Not right now while Trump's there. So I did a video on the Conflict of Interest Act. Pierre Poilievre, Melissa Landsman, July 15th, a couple days before, or a day before this one for the Conflict of Interest by Moose on the Loose. So just wasting our time. So that's where we're at. There is no conflict of interest. It's just a nothing burger, but it does serve a purpose. And the purpose it does serve is to distract you from what really needs to be done to get us out of our situation, because we do have an affordability issue with housing. We need to change how we do business across this country and around the world. And we've got to start doing this now. We can't waste time with all this nonsense. It's just a waste of time. So questions, comments? Throw in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and love and peace to everyone. Take care, and ciao for now.